Hare Krishna, welcome back to Sankirtanan, your hub for captivating Sankirtan stories, practical tips and tricks, and boundless inspiration from around the globe. Powered by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust and devotees like you, Sankirtanan is created to support the Sankirtan movement globally and keep the transcendental sound vibrations going.
Every week, we have an episode that helps you connect with Srila Prabhupada's books by inspiring you to both read and distribute them. So let's get to it.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are in the wonderful association of His Grace Kautukranava Prabhu from ISV. I know he's going to talk about himself a little bit, but something he's doing is bringing Srimad Bhagavatam sets and just Prabhupada's books in general to a non-traditional, non-Vedic audience. He's one of the ashram residents at ISV, and he's a traveling Sankirtan devotee. He is very innovative and super inspired to perform book distribution. So Prabhu, thank you for agreeing to speak with us. And maybe if you could just introduce yourself briefly and also how you got into book distribution and then how that became your full-time service as a traveling book distributor and your involvement in Bhadra, etc.
Hare Krishna, dear Ranchor Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you. I am really inspired by your stats that you present for after all the campaigns, whether it is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhadra, or Live to Give. I feel really inspired. That's one of the inspirations that I have to go on distribution. So I got connected to Krishna consciousness in 2011 back in India. And I used to go for book distribution once in a while, but it was a really challenging service. I could hardly distribute any books. And when I came to United States in 2014, I met His Grace Aditya Narayan Prabhu at Hillsborough, North Carolina.
Right.
That's where I went to school, NC State. And he inspired me to go for book distribution, and that gave me a lot of inspiration, Aditya Narayan Prabhu. And then one day he told me that there is going to be a seminar on book distribution by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, who is a Sankirtan devotee for his whole life. And then although I was a student, I planned to attend that. After attending that Sankirtan orientation seminar, my whole perspective on book distribution changed. I felt I do not have to be smashing people with arguments on book distribution. I just have to be friends with people, and it's not about arguments or defeating people with Shastra, but it is more about building friendships, leaving a good impression, also being a good example yourself. I was really charmed by his personality, how gentle he was with devotees, how focused he was on book distribution and reading the Shastras, and also sharing it with compassion. So that seminar changed my life. And after that, I started going by myself door to door while I was in the school. And I got some success even that time. And I was yearning, when can I go to ISKCON of Silicon Valley? And by Krishna's arrangement, my first job was in Bay Area. So I got an opportunity to be part of ISKCON of Silicon Valley since 2016.
Wow.
I received initiation from His Grace Vaisheshika Maharaj in 2018. And I was associating with the Sankirtan devotees in ISB since 2016. Her Grace Malini Mataji, His Grace Achyuta Chaitanya Prabhu, Madhav Govind Prabhu, Ananga Gopika Mataji, Aldarupa Prabhu. I have been going out with them since then. So because of their association, I was really encouraged to go out. And after 7 years of working in IT, I decided to do full-time as a brahmachari and then do book distribution full-time. So I'm very happy that I have this opportunity for last 2 to 3 years to go on book distribution daily or every few days a week. 3 to 4 days a week. I also derive inspiration from His Grace Devrata Prabhu, who is my godbrother, and he is a traveling Sankirtan devotee. He has taught me how to travel and distribute books. Yeah, so that's my inspiration, Prabhu. That keeps me going. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think the point you made about how Vaisheshika Prabhu changed your view on book distribution. I think that's a misconception lots of devotees have that, book distribution is about being super philosophically superior and defeating a bunch of people's arguments. Um, but it's more about the heart, and it's more about, just meeting people and being kind to them and taking interest in them enough to try and uplift their lives. I know sometimes in presentations, Vaisheshika Prabhu will tell all the devotees to turn off the switch, and they say, now you're just a robot. Don't like think about things too much. Just go out there and do your best. So I liked how you brought that up. So um, as many devotees know, this year is a big year for the One World Sankirtan team. We have a global goal of 100,008 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. And I believe you, Prabhu, are not only just distributing Bhagavatam sets, like all the devotees at ISU, but you're also distributing Bhagavatam sets to those without a Vedic background, those without an Indian background. So I kind of wanted to understand how you're doing this, but first maybe we can look at what motivated you to do this specifically, this service of distributing to those without like a traditional cultural Vedic background.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for that question. Actually, when I saw devotees distributing back in 2016, we would go to Pier 39 in San Francisco, and there was a lot of visitors. Every weekend, there would be new people. And I saw how these devotees, Achyuta Chaitanya Prabhu, Manjri Gopika Mataji, Madhav Govind Prabhu, Ananga Gopika Mataji, they were able to connect using the template that was taught to us by His Grace Vaisheshika Maharaj. And it feels so exhilarating when we meet somebody who is non-traditional, not from a Vedic background, and they accept the book gratefully and give a donation. Many times I have felt that they have more appreciation than Vedic culture, people from Vedic background who say, "Oh, I can't read or I can't touch these books because I have ate non-veg food today." Um, so I feel it is easier to distribute to people from non-traditional background many times. And also, Srila Prabhupada came to the West so that this knowledge could be given to people without a Vedic background. And it is not a criteria for distributing books by as per Srila Prabhupada. This knowledge is for everybody, whether they are raised in Vedic society or not. So all of this, it is very exhilarating actually when people accept these books gratefully, and you meet people from all different backgrounds from all over the world. San Francisco is a cosmopolitan, so it's so nice when we meet people, leave them with a good impression. They get a Bhagavad Gita, they get a higher taste, they get other Prabhupada books, and they are very grateful and make a donation. It's just I just can't explain um, the joy that we receive through by distributing these books. And Prabhupada wanted this to be given outside India, so
Right.
I feel like I'm contributing to that in my own little way.
Jai, thank you for sharing. Yes, I resonate what you said as well. It's like these people are very appreciative and so much. So it's nice to see that. Now, speaking about the Srimad Bhagavatam specifically, can you describe how you present Srimad Bhagavatam to those without a like a Vedic background? Because Bhagavad Gita, I mean, obviously it's just one book. It's a little bit shorter and it's more philosophical, whereas the Bhagavatam has concepts that may be a little more challenging for a Western person or somebody who's not super acquainted with Vedic culture. So how do you bridge that gap?
Hare Krishna, Guru. That is true. Srimad Bhagavatam is a 18-volume text, so it could be daunting for a person from non-Vedic background to buy it, especially on the first meeting. So my to go is the four laws of book distribution, as Vaisheshika Maharaj says. First is that your sadhana must be strong. We should have the desire to distribute Bhagavatam and pray to Krishna, attend Srimad Bhagavatam every day class. We can't give anybody else if we don't have Srimad Bhagavatam in our heart. If we are not reading, if we are not listening, how can we share it with others? Your sadhana must be strong. Second, he says, get books. We should have Srimad Bhagavatam with us always so that we can distribute. And third is, the more you show, the more you sell. So we always have a display of Srimad Bhagavatam. I am on traveling Sankirtan from one college to another. We are in Seattle right now. We are planning to go to set up a table in University of Washington tomorrow. So we always have a display of the entire 18 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam stacked nicely. And fourth is, you must organize. So we have these different venues to go and show Bhagavatam, present Bhagavatam to different people. So I was in University of Oregon, Eugene, and there was one guy who was returning from his Buddhist class. He was a Buddhist, and he was really interested in reading Srimad Bhagavatam. He just saw the book nicely presented, nicely stacked on our table. He saw, and I showed him the first canto. I showed him few pictures, how this is the story of a person who had only 7 days to live, and how Srimad Bhagavatam is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. I showed him the picture of the sun, how, and there is modern people are in ignorance because of the breaking of the four regulative principles. There's a picture in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the pictures are really powerful, Prabhu. I hand them the first volume so that they can experience what it is. Just by touching Srimad Bhagavatam, they get an surcharge of devotional, electricity just by touching Srimad Bhagavatam. What to speak of reading and hearing about Srimad Bhagavatam? It's like an instant Srimad Bhagavatam class, a short Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, I try to listen to them, appreciate them, and then I present the pictures from first canto, and then they can develop some context. And if they already have an inclination to read, that really helps. I ask them how much you like to read on a scale of 1 to 10. And if they say anything above 7 or even 6, I show them that I'm going to show the best book I have on the table. So I show them Srimad Bhagavatam first canto. I tell them that, have you heard of encyclopedias? And they say yes. So this is the spiritual encyclopedia. It is 18 volumes. It is written in Sanskrit. That's the oldest language in the universe. So I show them a Sanskrit text and ask them if they can read it. And they, of course, they say no. And then I turn it upside down, and then I say, could you read it now? And they said, no, I can't read it. And I said, I'm just kidding. So they start laughing, which there should be some humor. And then I say that we have a Sanskrit pronunciation guide at the back of the book. You can recite this Romanized, this word to word meaning, this translation comment. It's very easy to understand. So this guy, he said, okay, I want to buy the set. So I asked him, how much do you think this book will cost if you go to the bookstore, the University of Oregon? And he said this will cost at least $100, just one volume. And it is such a good quality, the print quality. If you compare it to a textbook that they buy, it will be easily go from $50 to $100. So I said, the entire set, how much will that cost? He said it will be in thousands of dollars, the entire set of 18 volumes. And I say that we just request to cover the printing, which is $250. And even that, if you are not able to cover, we give discount for students because we have some sponsors who can help you with that. And he said, okay, I will give $200. And he gave $200 on the spot, and he bought the set.
Oh, wow. Jai. Yeah,
So
that's
the four
continue.
laws, I just wanted to mention that four laws of book distribution, that is my go-to for this book.
Yes, yeah, I think that's a wonderful framework. And I liked how you said about the pictures. I think Vijay Prabhu, the former Minister of Book Distribution, he was also speaking about the pictures because for us devotees, we've seen that changing bodies picture or the different pictures in the first canto hundreds and hundreds of times. And so we kind of are like, okay, this is nice and everything. But for someone who's seen it for the very first time, it's a shock for them. They've never seen anything like it, so it's quite beautiful. Um, I also noticed that you mentioned that you qualified people by asking them if they like to read. And that makes a lot of sense because the Bhagavatam will be respected if it goes into somebody's hands if they are already liking to read. So you ask like the 1 to 10, and if they get like a 6 or 7 or 8 or above, then you offer them the Srimad Bhagavatam. Are there any other things you use to qualify people? Or is it mainly just their interest in spirituality and their willingness to read a heavy text? Are there other things that you look for? Prabhu, I'm not able to hear you. If you can maybe come closer to the mic a little bit.
Now,
Yeah, this is better, yes.
okay. So of course, I wave at them and I see their response. And if they are positive, they come to the table, and then I start with the Bhagavad Gita. And if they're still waiting to hear more, then I show them Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's also depends upon how much time they have.
Okay.
Many times people just have couple of minutes, so I just present them accordingly. I also mention to them, I know you are getting late, you have places to go, people are waiting for you, so I will be real quick. So I feel that makes them comfortable. Also, they tell us clearly, oh, no problem, I have time, I'm done with my classes for today, especially for school setting.
Ah, okay.
So then you know how much time they have. Then you can present the set accordingly,
Hmm.
less or more.
Okay,
So
so
it
you also,
yeah,
yes.
just telling them up front, I know you're busy, it won't take a lot of time. Then they feel comfortable, they are more attentive. And also if they are really interested, they will tell you, no, I have time, I'm ready to hear. So you can present Bhagavatam.
Hmm. Yeah, I know that that's they're at least making advancement in devotional service by giving their time to Krishna, if not anything else. So that's also interesting because I understand that Bhagavatam cannot be distributed very quickly. It requires some time and trust and patience. I mean, any transaction that magnitude does take some time. So I like how you point out that it's not something to be rushed, but something just that can be done very, very gradually. Um, so you mentioned some lines about like some direct quotes from the Bhagavatam, and then also the line about the Sanskrit turning it upside down. That's something I haven't heard. Are there any other lines that you use to share to those without a Vedic background? And you mainly focus on the first canto, and then just describe it's a spiritual encyclopedia after that.
Yes, that after I give them the set, I tell them I'm going to show you real quick. So I go to the pictures, and in the pictures, many times there is a I just go and explain the pictures actually. That's all. The According to the person's time, you just show them the pictures. There's a picture of a lady taking care of a golden cage with a bird inside. So I say that, you see, we are spiritual beings, we are in a human experience. So many times we take care of the cage very nicely, but we forget to feed the bird. That's why people are not satisfied, even if they have everything in the world, wealth, success, but they are not satisfied. And they really appreciate that. Then I show the three deities. There is a system in the universe, there is some structure to the universe. So just like in this university system, everything is going on properly, there are classes happening, the facilities are clean. Why? There is a person behind it who is
Mm.
managing this. So similarly, behind this universe, there are deities for creation, maintenance, and destruction. So these are explained in this book: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And then I show them the last picture where there is Lord Krishna walking with Balram, and I say this is spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there are four things which are absent: birth, death, old age, and disease. These are the main problems for this age. Every person has to go through them. But in the spiritual world, these are not there. So, this book actually inspires us, teaches us how to transcend from this world to the spiritual world.
That makes sense. It's focusing more on the philosophical aspect. I think that's where like when we distribute to those with a Vedic background, it's we can focus more on um like the Leelas and everything like that. But for those without a Vedic background, at least the philosophy resonates. So focusing on the philosophy and letting the Bhagavatam reveal everything else to them as they read, I think that makes quite a lot of sense. So yeah, thank you for describing that. Um, Additionally, I don't know if there's any like unique paraphernalia used. I know different devotees do this differently. So like on your table, I know you're just distributing other books as well. Do you have a sign specifically for Bhagavatam, or do you have a sign just for like your book table? And then on the actual table itself, is the whole Bhagavatam set up, or do you just have the first canto there and then the rest of the set is under the table or somewhere else? How do you coordinate that?
That's a very important question. The presentation matters a lot. So we use a very nice tablecloth which has written yoga, meditation, and philosophy books on it. We also have a logo for Bhakti Community or ISKCON of Silicon Valley. So people actually understand that this is something authorized. This is not
Right.
random stuff. And we have a sign, a sign which again have yoga, meditation, and philosophy books. So they understand that. And then we have the entire Srimad Bhagavatam displayed. We have two or three towers of 7 or 8 books, and then I keep couple of Bhagavatams in the front. So they see the entire 18 books when they are
Mm,
on the table. So I don't have a specific science for Bhagavatam right now, but it's a great idea. I see that BBT has prepared some pamphlets or templates which can be used. So I would love to use them in future. But right now I don't have a specific sign for Bhagavatam.
that makes sense. And so yeah, having it all out there, everyone can see. And then also because I understand that you may would like some like pamphlets or things like that, but also the way you distribute, you kind of use the first canto and the pictures as like the sample pamphlet to get a good understanding of the whole text. Um, so that makes sense. And so it's wonderful. So now moving along the process, we've distributed a set. We've qualified them. After qualifying them, we've distributed the books after showing them the pictures. Now they kind of go on into their own life. How do you follow up with these people with regards to reading the Bhagavatam? Because I know some devotees, have this fear of introducing everything in the Bhagavatam because it is quite philosophically dense, and even the first purport is beautiful, but it may be a little long. So, do you have like specific follow-up programs that are tailored to the Bhagavatam, or do you invite them to your normal programs and then encourage them to read the Bhagavatam on their own? How do you, in your experience, what works the best?
Yeah, that's a very important question. How do we follow up with people? Right now, we don't have a specific program for Bhagavatam, uh, but we do invite them to Bhakti Community, which is
Mm,
a community for newcomers where they can attend classes every week from different speakers about Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, not specifically Srimad Bhagavatam, but these classes are tailored towards the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So gradually, as they develop their interest, we can have them on Srimad Bhagavatam calls according to their growth. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I think the main thing though is that they've just given they've surrendered their time and their resources and just welcomed the Srimad Bhagavatam into their own heart. And that's kind of what qualifies them to continue making spiritual advancement. Um, yeah, do you have any other? And you shared this one story of this student at the University of Oregon, this Buddhist student. Do you have any other maybe one or two stories you'd like to share that are really stuck out to you of, individuals that took the Srimad Bhagavatam and how it made you feel?
Thank you so much for asking that question. It makes me feel ecstatic when some student gets a Bhagavatam set. I would love to share two more stories.
Yes,
One
please.
other story is from the same school, University of Oregon, Eugene. I met a student who who is from Korea originally, and she also practices Buddhism. And she was really interested to get these books, but she said she doesn't have space, but she would love to read them. She said she loves to read books. So I offered her an ebook. We have this opportunity because of BBT that we can give Srimad Bhagavatam in 12 ebooks that could be read on Kindle or any other platforms which use EPUB format. So she actually paid $50 for the ebook, and I also gave her SB Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1, which has the first 8 chapters of the first canto, and she gave little extra donation for that. And I was so
Nice.
happy that she got the entire set. She doesn't have space, and I'm sure she will read it because she has paid for it. They will value it. That that is one story. Even if they don't have space, they can still read Bhagavatam through ebooks.
Jai.
Yeah, and the second story I would like to share is from Portland State University. We were there last week. Um, there was a student, his name was Mitchell, and he was waiting for me to complete my conversation with another person. For 15 minutes, he waited and then he came to the table. And I really thanked him from the bottom of my heart to wait, because who waits? Everybody is busy in these days. They are students, their life is hectic, but he waited for 15 minutes. So just being kind and sharing our appreciation is so valuable. And then he told me that he is not a spiritual guy, but he likes to learn. He's very inquisitive. He has books from all different traditions. He has a Quran, he has Bible, and he even visited ISKCON Portland and bought Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1, the first 8 chapters, but he did not have the full set. He said he wants to get the full set because it was nicely displayed. I asked him the same question, how much to like to read, and he said he loves to read. I showed him the Bhagavatam first canto. He said he would like to buy the full set. And I told him the same thing, how much it will cost. And he said the same thing, it will be in thousands, the whole set. And I told him that it will be 250, but you do your best because you are a student. We give a discount for students. And he said, I will give 175. And he paid
Wow.
right there, and he took the entire set. And he told me that he's not a spiritual guy, but he loves to learn. When he speaks about some tradition, he wants to be sure that it is genuine, it is authentic. So there are people who are looking for this knowledge. They might not be religious people, they might not be spiritual people, they want to learn. So Krishna, it is Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and Srila Prabhupada's mercy that we have these books and we have to just go and display them and give people a lot of appreciation and encouragement, and Krishna will reciprocate.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful, especially the second one. I think even when reading the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada or the acharyas will comment and they'll say, in this conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, there's many other people there. They may be jnanis, they may be yogis. They're not fully at the platform of devotional service. They're not fully spiritual. They may have their own material tendencies, but they still are there to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. So many people they may not be. Um, fully on like the highest realization, but they're interested in reading Srimad Bhagavatam. But that interest, because Srimad Bhagavatam is non different than Krishna himself, that interest enables them to take Srimad Bhagavatam and also to reap the benefits of it. That's wonderful. And I also wanted to highlight the ebooks. It's a newer release from the BBT. I think it's very useful not just because it's less costly, but it's also does solve that space issue. Because as the world everyone's more moving towards apartments and not physical houses. As the median age of buying a house gets higher and higher, more people are moving here and there, and it's easier for them to take books if they don't have to think about, where is this box of books going to go when I move, or how am I going to transport it? It's easier if it's just on their device and they don't have to think of that extra anxiety. But yeah, thank you very much for all of this, all the tips and the tricks that you shared, and also the stories you shared. It's a simple method, but I think it's very genius. It takes on really subtle nuances and utilizes them to everyone's advantage. And it's also just a very blissful activity. So, Prabhu, maybe as we wrap up, if you could kind of describe how do you stay enthused to the service, and what would you say to somebody who is considering trying to distribute Bhagavatam and distribute books to non-traditional audiences, but is maybe hesitant? What would you say to inspire them to continue or start this service?
Hare Krishna, Bro. Thank you for asking that question. The way for enthusiasm is by being enthusiastic. As His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says, we should act enthusiastic if we are not enthusiastic. So if we can enthusiastically chant our rounds every day with sincerity, and we have the desire to please the Guru, please the Guru Parampara, then Krishna will give us enthusiasm to go out. So if we take our time in the morning to chant our rounds sincerely, that will bring us enthusiasm. Also, if we set a goal for ourselves that this is how I want to please Krishna and my Guru Maharaj, that inspires us. Even if we are not able to meet our goal, it's not so much about smashing your goal, but to try for it, to strive for it, to pray to Krishna that I am helpless, I don't know how to do it, but you can guide me. That gives us so much ecstasy and joy and bliss. Anyways, everybody in the world is struggling. If they don't have goals for spiritual life, they will have to struggle for goals for material life. Everybody has to have something to strive for. So why not have something in spiritual life to strive for and to be anxious about? It's good to be anxious about Krishna. Then even if you are hesitant about setting goals, you can set a goal on activity. I'm going to present this to 50 people. I don't know how many people will accept it, but I'm going to present it. Just by presenting Srimad Bhagavatam to somebody, we get so much benefit in our own sadhana. So it is not so much about how many things will materialize, but at least let me try. I have a goal of, let's say, 50 Bhagavatams until Bhadra Purnima. I'm going to present to at least 100 people Srimad Bhagavatam. And then it's up to Krishna how many people will accept it. So just do your duty, and leave it up to Krishna.
It's a wonderful end to our discussion. Vaisheshika Prabhu always says that we set goals because of what it makes of us when we try to accomplish them. Because we become more absorbed in the Bhagavatam, we get the sukriti of distributing and presenting Bhagavatam, and we make more advancement on our spiritual path. But yes, so thank you very much, Kautukranava Prabhu, for your time and your inspiration. And we hope that you'll be able to continue your service and we'll be able to continue being inspired by you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for giving me your valuable time. I feel really fortunate to be speaking with you because you are a child prodigy, it seems to me. At least you are working at such a small age for BBT MCI team. I'm sure you have a great future. And thank you so much for enthusing me with your call.
Yes, thank you for Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Sankirtanon. For more resources, visit us at www.distributebooks.com. See you next episode, and remember, carry on, together strong, Sankirtanon.